Welcome back to the second half of the Bobby Dupree Show. And of course, my sidekick Andrew is right here by my side. And we've got a lot of things to talk about. So let's just get right into it. How about a sponsor too?
I can do that too. Carl's Thrifty Way. All your medicinal needs. Go see Mr. Carl. He can help you out with over-the-counter medications. If you're looking for just some generic type stuff, some low-key stuff, maybe that you used to take those prescription, now it's over-the-counter reliable. If you got to get a prescription filled, he's got everything from the generics that are sometimes cheaper to the name brand that you're more comfortable with, that you're more familiar with. He's got time to sit with you and talk to you about what you need, what are the repercussions of your medicines. Because, you know, medicines always, some of them have side effects. They may have maybe upset stomach. Maybe
it might be doing that to you and you get worried.
And you're not sure. So talk to your pharmacist while you're there at Carl's, and he'll talk to you and he'll say, yes, that's not an uncommon thing. You should eat with this particular medication. Or that's not uncommon. You don't want to drive after you take this medication. Carl's Thrifty Way, they can do all that for you with gifts, home decorating, monogramming, and gift wrapping. One more sponsor while we're hitting it. Dixie Storage, all your storage needs. Dixie Storage can help you with units all throughout St. Landry Parish. They got them where you can back in with the big loading docks. They got railroad spur access. They can do it with Dixie One Trucking. They can take your load and finish delivering it for you. They can do inventory control. You can rent a whole warehouse from them if you're looking for that as well. Throughout the parish, along I-49, US 190, good access to all the major highways. And don't forget their sister company, A Plus Glass, with locations in Lafayette and in Opelousas to do glass work for your car, your 18-wheeler with inspections. They can do glass work for your home, your commercial work, whatever you need.
I want to thank Vicki Collins, Vicki Dupree Collins, I might add, for sending us this. She works with well, it's through the health unit.
Through the health unit.
But works for DHH and sanitation department here in.
That's right. Parish Health Unit Sanitation Manager.
Yeah, she's the manager.
We got it.
And she sent us this. I had asked for it. I saw Mike Vidrine after Mass Sunday, and I asked him to get this to me, and look, it's right here. How about that? Thanks, Mike. Working together. The schedule for vaccination and registration by licensed veterinarian is, and that's the free dog and cat vaccination for 2011. The St. Landry Parish has been performing this free service for years, ever since I think I started the radio show. By the way, I was reminded today that it's 35 years by Mr. Bennett, because that's when he came here and opened his grocery store. The Port Barre area is going to be Wednesday, June 15th, and they're going to also be at Vidrine's Furniture Store in LeBeau and Veterans Memorial Park in Port Barre. And in the Big Cane Morrow area will be Wednesday at Chapman's Grocery. I know exactly where that is. The Palmetto area will be the Bernhard's.
Jeff
Bernard's store there.
Yep.
You think? Yeah, they do it
at
there?
The building.
They do it.
What do you call Bernard's store? But that's the corporate office for PMG.
Okay, good. Plaisance area at Plaisance High School. Washington on
Friday. Those are on Thursday. Friday is Willie's.
Friday's going to be at Willie's Washington Campground, 8:30 to 9. And all these start off at 8:30, by the way. And Lawtell Swords area is going to be at the Lawtell Baseball Park, again, from 8:30 to 9:30. And then we'll give you next week's schedule.
And this has all been part of this eradication of rabies. You know, we don't really have these big rabies outbreaks. Every once in a while, you open up the paper and you'll see some place in another state have these outbreaks where they've got raccoons or squirrels or something carrying this virus, and the dogs get it and everybody's got a problem. But you notice in our area we really don't have that problem because our parish has been very proactive, and our whole state actually been very proactive in this.
Then Monday of next week will be in Paconnier, Orneville area, JC's Country Store at 8:30, Darby's Gin at 9:15, and then again on Monday, another group will be working Austin Fontenot's old store, that's in Lewisburg, and then in the Bristol area it's going to be Cankton Elementary School at 9:15. The other one was at 8:30. And then the Leonville area next Tuesday is Leonville Four Corners at 8:30 in the morning, and then Tuesday another stop will be Sunset Grand Coteau. Sunset High School be at 8:30. and that would be the old high school building area, and then St. Charles Chapel, and that'll be at 9:45.
That's in Brancato.
That's correct. And then next Wednesday will be Bayou Current area at Maddie's Old Grocery. That's on June 22nd, and then the Buckhorn Bar in Melville.
Right.
And I guess we could go all the way to Grand Prairie area at the Grand Prairie Elementary School.
You got it.
And that's going to be at 8:30. So we want to thank you. And these are free, and these are by licensed veterinarians. This is not some fly-by-night top. These are properly licensed people that have performed this service.
Part of your tax dollars that pay for it.
That's correct.
Take advantage of it. LHC Group, all your home health care needs, LHC Group can help you with home health care. That's from the therapists to the nurses to the special beds to the equipment that you press the button to get calls for help, the oxygen type equipment. They've got that. They got the special chair that you press the button to help you get up. Maybe you've got problems with the legs, help you get up, get out of that chair. They can do all that for you. They've got the Health and Wellness Center here off of Heather Drive in Opelousas if you're looking for a health club type work to keep yourself healthy. The Louisiana Healthcare Group with locations throughout all the United States. Call them. It's all about helping people.
The flood waters that concerned people all the way from North Dakota all the way to Morgan City, Louisiana, and on the side, on the way to Morgan City, Butte La Rose, of course, was an area that was thought to really receive some huge flooding. Well, we were all properly warned. I think the people did the best they could to prepare for it. And fortunately, not too many people got flooding in South Louisiana. Some of our friends in North Louisiana have some flooding, and of course across the river there, starting in Natchez all the way up to North Dakota,
Vicksburg,
all the way up. They still having, the Missouri River is really creating havoc in those areas.
Because they caught a bunch of rain behind the flooding, so that's complicated things. Now for us, they don't think the rain is going to cause a whole lot of trouble for us on this, and by the time it comes all the way down, the river will go down enough, but up there it hadn't gone down enough.
And so the people at 3 Mile Lake are moving back in, of which I'm associated with that group, and we took some pretty strenuous, I guess, precautionary movements, and we don't think anybody had any flooding at all. There could have been some property owners would have been affected had we not been able to work with the Corps of Engineers. By the way, we want to thank those fine folks for allowing us to protect our property, and then now we're going to have to take away that dirt, and all, at least a portion of it, and get back to normal operation of the way the waters work in the basin. And the Corps of Engineers, the Morganza Spillway, I haven't heard if any of the gates are still open, but probably they closing them as
under 10,
definitely under 10.
Yeah.
So that's good news, meaning that the water level is not going to rise very much unless some of that water from up north would end up causing some more problems. But for the time being, we're very fortunate. The little newspaper in Avoyelles, well, Marksville actually, Marksville Weekly News, they quote two people who remember and they were survivors of the 1927 flood. There's a Miss Mary Orman, who I don't know, but the other gentleman, Mr. Sonny Harris of Bunkie, I do know. His father, Mr. Vines Harris, had a grocery store, mercantile store in Melville, and apparently a pretty large store there back in that 27 flood. And he was about 7 years old. He, meaning Sonny, was about 7 when the levee broke and the flooding started, and he remembers a couple of things. He remembers that after the waters had settled down, he would ride with his daddy in a boat and deliver ice to people because ice is very important to try to save some of your
Keep
food.
a little bit of meat
and have good drinking water too. They liked cold water back then. They just didn't have much ice with it.
Right.
And the other thing he remembers vividly, and that is the fact that his mother was able to save her piano. She had brought it to the second story of the store building, and his didn't flood. You remember the old hotel there flooded almost to the rooftop. So anyhow, very, very interesting. And of course, I've known Mr. Sonny Harris. Gene Boudier and I used to deliver bids for Prairie Construction, Mr. Laddie James, and we'd travel all over, and Mr. Sonny Harris worked with the state, and he would check to make sure that the bidders on these projects were properly licensed. So I got to knowing him there. Then after that, I got to knowing him because he had a quarter-horse stallion. I think the name of him was Lightning Bar Jr. And then probably 2 years ago, met him over at Tommy's, the Bailey Hotel, and he loves to dance, and passed some good times as recently as a couple of years ago. So good morning to you. Hopefully a friend is telling him to turn on your radio on 105.3 real quick, Mr. Sonny.
Good morning.
So anyhow, a good little story here, and
you know, Tommy over there restores pianos. Talking about pianos and old Tommy pianos, he restores and tunes pianos.
Forgot that. Yeah. You're correct. His former wife used to work at the Jan, used to work at Indian Hills Country Club for quite a while.
See, we know everybody. How about a couple of obituaries while you and I are talking? Mr. Johnny Stanford from the from the Church Point area passed away this week, 66 years old, unexpectedly of a heart attack. My grandfather's half-brother from over in the Church Point area. We want to wish the family some condolences. I got a chance to go by and visit with his wife, Barbara. Got to see some of the kids, and just want to give our condolences to them. My great-grandfather, like a lot of guys of that generation, he had two families. He had the first marriage and he had the second marriage, and Johnny was with the second marriage. So Johnny was more of the age of playing with my Uncle Fuzzy Stanford and my Uncle Ben Stanford when they were all close to that same age. You know, he was the uncle. They were all about that same age. So our condolences to the family. And I have
you got some too? Few condolences that I need to pass. A longtime friend of mine, Miss Ida Bro. Her husband, of course, died sometimes in the recent past, Mr. R.C. Bro. And of course, I know Ida's, one of her sons, Gerald Cormier, and his wife Janice. They live in Grand Prairie. They show here from Washington, but they live, and of course, Gerald is a very successful contractor. So to Miss Ida, who was nice age, 89 years old, my condolences to the family. Another person who passed away recently was Philip Romar Sr., and he was 68 years old, and his funeral arrangements were entrusted to William Funeral Home here in Opelousas. I met Philip riding motorcycles years ago. He was a trucker, lived in the Palmetto area when I first met him. It shows here that he was living probably in Opelousas in recent years, but we always had that. You see that smile right there?
I went to school with some of the Romars over at Palmetto Elementary many years ago.
Yeah, well, that could well be.
Oh, it's definitely the same
one of his.
Oh, yeah.
Another man who was extremely well known, I guess, in his port, right on the St. Landry, Acadia border, near Church Point.
KSLO, see on the other side of the street.
Speaking of Mr. Jesse Richard, he ran a successful grocery store not far from where Mr. Daniel Lyons and his family live today. And Mr. Jesse, I remember, used to advertise on Mr. Austin Fontenot's radio program on Thursdays at noon, if my memory serves. Now, that's going way back, but very fine, successful businessman and a leader in his community.
How about that one? You want to talk about that one?
Gunsmoke.
That's a good one.
Yep. Matt Dillon, the mythical marshal of Dodge City. He stood 6 feet 6 inches tall. And of course, we speaking of James Orness. Very good, clean programs they had back in those days.
Was in the military as a young man when they did like the D-Day landing. He was like 6'6". So he's the man who had to get out of the boat first because he's the only one who could see how deep the water was. They sent him out knowing he's the guy that least likely to drown.
Oh, well, how about that?
Stat, huh?
That's a good stat. I had never